Welcome back everyone to Rediscovering Minds, and today we're going to be introducing how to manage stress during these hard times. I'll be joined by Amirah as well. I guess the question is, what causes stress during isolation? What do you think that sort of causes it?
I think one of the biggest cause would be uncertainty, not knowing anything really, not knowing how long you'll be employed for, not knowing when restrictions are lifted, not knowing how people who are close to you are faring, and not knowing when you can get to them.
Yeah, so I guess that's the kind of sort of change in this society now that in this sort of environment that we don't know. We normally go out to see our friends and family, to see how they are, and now we can't, and yes, we do have the technology to do like FaceTime or use Zoom or anything like that. What other symptoms do you think that may be the cause of stress?
There are quite a range of symptoms that you might be experiencing that you may not even be aware of. But it's also, I think it's really helpful to use the people around you as a starting point. If you can notice some things in them, there are chances that, that might kind of start a thought process of what you might actually be experiencing without knowing. Some of them would be along the lines of feeling stressed and overwhelmed, feeling worried or fearful, because you're constantly being exposed to this flow of information that doesn't really stop. Helplessness. Sometimes we get a bit irritable or angry or frustrated, especially being in such confined spaces, even with people that we like, and family. We can also experience a bit of sadness, and we might stop enjoying things that we normally enjoy. Physically, or like health-wise, physiologically, blood pressure might increase, heart rate might increase. Your sleep quality might drop. You might find yourself having poor concentration. That's probably because of all the worries at the back of your head. And also probably like a variety of distractions that you'll have around you at home. And for some people, the idea of self or social isolating alone might be disconcerting. And then also there's that fear of going into public places, thinking about what you might catch, or how you might harm others maybe. So yeah, there are a lot of things that are really, really small, but they can build up.
Yeah, it's very good points there as well. Like subconsciously, even like we do have to be safe, and yes, we still need to go out, but at the same time, when we're stuck with our families, and yeah, it's great to spend time with families, but at the same time, we need to spend time alone, but we can't because there's not much privacy, maybe. Just really. There's all sorts of situations that can kind of induce the whole stress as well, and the big part of it is, when obviously getting certain information from news and stuff like that, that kind of adds on, because you need to know. It's good to know the news, but at the same time, it's not great because it's giving you these facts, or maybe they're lies, or if you can trust the media or not, or that's the sort of only news you can really rely on with that. So it's very hard, and to be honest, for my personal experience, I admit, I do read the news. I like to follow up what the updates are, and what the politicians are doing, and it's just all this is going on, and I'm going, who do I trust anymore? It's that That's always back in my mind. So it's sort of I guess it's kind of healthy to sort of take it back and go, hang on, let's focus on yourself, rather than just relying on the news all the time. Let's sort of have a look and see what kind of things we can do. We can suggest a few things that can reduce that, and then you can try it at home if you like. So for you, Amirah, like what are the sort of suggestions you may suggest to the audience of what they can do at home?
Well, the first step, I think, for what I did for myself as well, and for my family members who are not with me, was to acknowledge whether or not we're experiencing these signs or feelings, and then to actually determine what contributes to them, because everyone's different. Like, for example, you mentioned about introverts. Like, I'm an introvert as well, so I'm like more than happy to hang out at home all day. Like, it's great. So that doesn't bother me. Whereas when I was going for a run a couple of weeks ago, and there was an elderly lady walking in the opposite direction with her shopping bags, and she stopped. Yeah. And I was gonna go around her anyways, but she stopped and waited for me to go off the road, off the path onto the road, run around her, and while smiling at me. So everyone's different. So she probably had a fear of going into public spaces. So determine what it is.
It's kind of funny because I do the same thing. Like like I would jog with my dog, and as soon as I see an elderly or just someone, doesn't matter, it has to be elderly, but I'll look at them, he looks at me, and then I will be like running to the side of the walk path, but then sometimes there'll be another group of people on the other side of the road, and I'm like, oh, what do I do now? Do I walk the other way? That's the it's like I feel trapped. Like I feel like there's like some sort of like it's that communication, I guess. It's like that non-spoken communication.
You'll have to start signaling.
Like, yeah, I'll probably have to signal. I'll be like, all right, I'm going this way now. So,
you know what I mean?
So it's the most awkward communication I could ever experience. I mean, they're grateful. Don't get me wrong. They look at me. They're wondering what I'm doing, and then when I do the right thing of going to the other side and going through that effort, that's when she'll be like, oh, thank you. Like you can see the smile in their eyes. So I guess and that's kind of what we're living in, I guess.
It's funny, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you have to know what it is.
Yeah.
That you have to acknowledge what it is for you.
Yeah.
That has changed, or that will be changing.
Yeah.
Because it is a natural response, and we are faced with constant changes and uncertainties, even with restrictions and stuff, with the evolution of the pandemic. So give yourself the time for these thoughts and feelings, like what we just did right now. We just pretty much laughed about it. But also give yourself the opportunity to process them, because it's important to acknowledge it, but then also know what it does for you. And you can talk to people about that. You can meditate on it. You can do some sort of like artistic outlet, and I think if it helps, since you're at home, if you have a spare hour whilst decluttering your closet or something, I mean, have a think through about what it is that is affecting you, and why. Another thing which I think might be useful to think about is to limit the information flow. And you can't actually limit the flow of information, but you can limit your access to them.
I guess the one thing is important to really acknowledge and really understand that these things can be bad for you. You know, if you can sort of understand and acknowledge these things, then you can sort of move on and go, okay, taking control of what you are receiving, enable for you to do something that is healthy for you. And I think what we sort of take from all of this, considering cooking food for people, is finding your purpose. In terms of whether it's helping others, helping yourself. I think having that purpose is very important. To drive that motivation of whatever you want to do as well, because we are living in a very different world, and we don't know if it's going to worsen or if it's going to be better. We don't know, but what we do know is that if we do have purpose in our lives and we are doing what we want to do, I think you're on the right track. That's it for today, for this episode anyway. So we do have our last episode that we were talking about counselling services that we introduced as well. So we will also link down below all the services if you do need someone to talk to. So we do have our websites as well if you want to talk to one of us. We'll be glad to answer any of your questions as well. So please like, comment, and subscribe to follow on our other episodes as well. And Amirah will definitely be joining us again.
Thanks
a lot. Thank you.
Bye.